In recent weeks, headlines across global financial and crypto communities have been buzzing with a shocking claim: Russia has accused the United States of planning the 37 trillion crypto reset. On the surface, this sounds almost too wild to believe. How can any nation, even one as powerful as the United States, orchestrate a reset of the entire global cryptocurrency market, let alone tie it to a figure as massive as 37 trillion? But when we peel back the layers, look at the ongoing U.S. debt crisis, global de-dollarization efforts, sanctions wars, and the accelerating march toward digital currencies, the claim begins to carry weight. What Russia is suggesting may not simply be a conspiracy theory, could be part of a much larger economic chess game being played on the world stage. To understand this, let's break it down. First, the number, 37 trillion. That figure isn't random. It mirrors the current U.S. national debt crisis that has ballooned to over 37 trillion. This mountain of debt has put Washington in an unprecedented position, where servicing the debt alone costs hundreds of billions each year. The U.S. Treasury and Federal Reserve have limited tools left to manage the situation without triggering inflation or financial instability. Printing more money erodes trust in the dollar. Raising interest rates slows the economy. Meanwhile, America's rival Serbia, China, and a growing bloc of BRICS nations have been aggressively pushing to dethrone the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency. Against this backdrop, Russia's claim that the U.S. might be preparing for a digital reset begins to sound like more than propaganda. But what exactly does a crypto reset mean? Russia's foreign ministry and allied state-run media have hinted that Washington could be preparing to migrate large portions of its debt markets, financial system, and even global settlements into a blockchain-based infrastructure. Think of it as replacing the old fiat system, burdened by trillions in unpayable debt, with a shiny new digital system where old obligations are either erased, restructured, or converted into tokenized forms. The figure of 37 trillion could represent the total reset of U.S. debt into this new digital landscape. Now, let's be clear, the U.S. government has never officially confirmed such a plan. In fact, American regulators, the SEC, have often seemed hostile toward cryptocurrencies. But at the same time, powerful institutions like BlackRock, Fidelity, and JP Morgan are moving into tokenization, digital assets, and blockchain-based financial products. Even the Federal Reserve has been quietly developing FedNow and researching the central bank digital currency CBDC. If we connect the dots, the U.S. may very well be preparing to shift to a hybrid system where blockchain technology becomes the backbone of global finance. From Russia's perspective, such a move would be catastrophic. Why? Because Moscow and its allies have spent years trying to escape the dollar's stranglehold. By sanctioning Russia's banks, freezing hundreds of billions in cash reserves, and cutting Moscow off from SWIFT, Washington weaponized the dollar like never before. In response, Russia and China began building alternative savings trade settlements in rubles, yuan, and even exploring blockchain-based payment systems. If America were to successfully pull off a crypto reset tied to its debt, it could reassert global dominance in the financial world, undermining BRICS de-dollarization efforts overnight. Imagine this scenario: the U.S. Treasury announces that all its debt, including the massive 37 trillion, will be tokenized on a blockchain system backed by the Federal Reserve. Investors worldwide currently hold U.S. bonds, pension funds, or sovereign wealth investments will be forced to adopt this system. The new digital dollar could be programmable, traceable, and instantly transferable across borders. For Washington, this would be a golden reset button, a chance to restructure its debt, lock in global compliance, and perhaps even inflate away obligations under the guise of upgrading the system. For Russia, this looks like a hostile takeover of the global financial order through blockchain technology. But let's dig deeper. Why is Russia sounding the alarm now? Part of it is political strategy. Moscow has long accused Washington of plotting manipulations in global markets. By framing the U.S. as secretly preparing the 37 trillion crypto reset, Russia positions itself as a truth teller and defender of alternative systems like BRICS, the digital ruble, and China's digital yuan. It fuels skepticism in emerging economies about the dollar's future and nudges them toward alternatives. In other words, this accusation may be less about exposing U.S. plans and more about accelerating global de-dollarization. That being said, we can't ignore the signs that America is laying groundwork for something big. Tokenization is exploding. BlackRock's Larry Fink has openly declared tokenization as the future of finance. Goldman Sachs and Citigroup are developing tokenized bonds. The IMF and the World Bank are studying blockchain for sovereign debt issuance. And the Bank for International Settlements, called the Central Bank of Central Banks, has been piloting multi-jurisdictional BDC. When all the world's biggest players are converging on blockchain, it's naive to think the U.S. wouldn't leverage this technology to address its debt crisis. Let's talk about the risks. A 37 trillion crypto reset would shake global markets to their core. If executed poorly, it could spark a massive collapse in confidence, not just in the dollar but in digital assets overall. Imagine pensioners, retirees, and foreign governments suddenly finding that their U.S. bond holdings have been converted into digital tokens with new rules attached. Trust could evaporate. On the other hand, if executed smoothly, it could give Washington unprecedented control. Every transaction, every movement of capital, every financial obligation could be tracked in real time. The reset wouldn't just be about debt, it would be about surveillance, compliance, and control on a scale the world has never seen. For ordinary citizens, such a reset could mean the end of financial privacy. A U.S. digital dollar could be programmed with restrictions, no spending on certain goods, expiration dates on money, or automatic taxation. Critics have warned that BDC are the ultimate tool of tyranny. Russia's accusation plays into these fears, suggesting that Washington plans to use its debt crisis as the excuse to roll out a new system that benefits elites while stripping freedoms from average people. Now, here's the $1 million or rather $1 trillion question. Could this actually work? Could the U.S. really reset 37 trillion in obligations by moving them to a crypto-based system? Economically, it's not impossible. Debt can be restructured, obligations can be converted, and technology can be used as the wrapper for such transformations. Politically, however, it would be incredibly challenging. Creditors like China, Japan, and Saudi Arabia may resist. Domestic backlash could be fierce. And the legal framework for such a radical shift is murky at best. Yet, history shows us that financial resets do happen. The U.S. abandoned the gold standard in 1971, shocking the world. In 2008, it bailed out banks with trillions in newly printed money. Each time, critics said the system couldn't hold, but it did. If Washington is indeed preparing the 37 trillion crypto reset, it wouldn't be the first time America rewrote the rules of global finance to its advantage. For investors, this entire debate raises critical questions. Should you prepare for a world where the dollar is digital and debt is tokenized? Should you hedge with Bitcoin, Ethereum, or other decentralized assets that can't be controlled by governments? Or should you assume that America will successfully co-opt blockchain technology and make the digital dollar the new king of global finance? The truth is, no one knows for certain. Ignoring these possibilities could be costly. Russia's warning may sound dramatic, but it highlights a real tension in our world today, the clash between centralized digital currencies controlled by governments and decentralized cryptocurrencies controlled by no one. A 37 trillion reset, whether real or rhetorical, forces us to ask, which side will win? Will blockchain liberate us from debt slavery, or will it become the new chain that binds us even tighter? In conclusion, Russia's claim that the U.S. is planning the 37 trillion crypto reset might be part propaganda, part truth, and part warning. But it reflects the growing reality that the financial system is on the brink of transformation. Whether that transformation comes through crisis, innovation, or manipulation, one thing is certain: the world of money is about to change forever. And in this new world, every nation, every investor, and every citizen will have to choose where they stand.